good morning, evening, or afternoon, whichever one's going on for you at this current point in time. Don't call it a comeback, we're going to call it a do a little more. And the reason is that from that video where I installed the sink, the owner contacted me recently and she said, hey, for some reason my water is not going down as fast as it should because it's filling up. So I did a little illustration because I feel like most of us are visual learners. So we got a bit of a draining issue. And there's two reasons for why that could potentially be happening. Either it's an obstruction, in which case there's something stuck in the line. And again, I have checked it. There is no hair, there is no clumps, nobody stuffed a makeup brush or a makeup wipe or something down the drain. Everything's looking clean. I put a camera down there, no issue. But it may be the case that if you are having an issue with your drain, it could just be something stuck down there. So either take your P-trap apart. Most people are going to have P-traps. So this is what a P-trap looks like. You're just going to take the connection that is here. It will typically be, let me just get a different color. It will typically be a nut that is here and a nut that is here. Usually it's just two parts. You take them off and you just push some water through the line or check to make sure somebody didn't drop an earring or what it may be. So getting back to the actual issue, she didn't have an obstruction, so the other thing may be an air admittance issue or allowing air to get into your system. Once too much water creates a vacuum, it's essentially stuck there. So what we're trying to do, because the original sink she had before did have an overflow vent, so there was an extra way for air to make itself into the line. Unfortunately, that is not the case now. So when you add a new sink with no overflow plus a faucet that accommodates more water, you are going to have issues in slower draining. Not to mention, probably this being the most concerning portion, is that she doesn't have a P-trap or an S-trap. It's just a mess of squiggles, and all these areas are, well, let me use a different color. All these areas here are collecting water, and you have to move water through these traps in order to get to an elbow that's attached to the wall to go down. Now, the ventilation system, we don't know how ancient it is, so it could be plugged, there could be dead animals in there, nesting, who knows. But she needs to move more water in this nonsense. And so, there's two things that she could do. One is, she needs to install herself a P-trap. Now again, I did tell her, hey, let me put, a nice functioning P-trap up to code. She said, I don't want to pay for that because it would be out of her pocket versus the landlord. She didn't want to pay for that. Okay. The next thing she could do is add an air admittance valve. And essentially all it is you have your sink, little big of a sink. It's basically, you have your drain, it goes down, here's your P-trap, that goes to the wall, and then you would have the air admittance valve. And because we want to be up to code with plumbing, it would essentially be 4 inches it would be 4 inches to 5 inches above the horizontal drain, right? So we want to make sure that that threads into a connector that is within that height. Besides that, we also want to make sure that the drain is angled at a slight incline. You want to make sure that the drain is going downward. So for every 12 inches, if I'm not mistaken, again, if there's any plumbers in the chat, please feel free to comment, let me know I'm wrong. I might be slightly off. So it's for every 12 inches, for every foot of run that you have from your trap to your wall or to your drain, you're going to add a 1/4 inch to a 1/2 inch of incline, right? So if there's 12 inches, you're going to go down a 1/4 of an inch. It could be anywhere between these two, depending on what your plumber code says. Again, the whole point is to make sure that we have the right amount of flow going in. Now, in a regular P-trap, you're going to have your water going down. It's going to go, air is going to be introduced to the system, and it's going to be sucking down that water. Now, any sewer gases that are going to be going up are going to go out through your ventilation, allowing air in and sewer gases to go out. You don't want that in your house as it creeps back into your as it creeps back into your system. The whole point of the P-trap is that there's water that always stays in this pipe so that that sewer gas doesn't come into your home. Now, because of the crazy system that she has, where there's 3 points where there's water filling, she doesn't have to worry about that sewer gas system happening. However, her drain was completely slowed, and because of this elbow here that is not straight into the wall, the water has to force itself upward, so it's almost going against gravity, causing her to not have as much water flow. So I told her, you have 3 choices. Either the air admittance valve, which is going to be a bit more permanent. You could go with me installing a P-trap and taking away this nonsense she has here. Or I asked her, do you use your stopper? She says no. So I decided to take out her stopper, and immediately the water starts flowing down, no problem. So I know that the amount of air that is necessary is not worth adding an entire vent just for that. So I said, let me take out the stopper from the horizontal rod, and I'm going to let it free fall into the hole, and then use the lever or the pull rod to adjust the height of that stopper up until the water is free flowing. I said, you're not going to have access to your stopper if you need to drain the water. She says, no, the biggest issue I have is that when I brush my teeth and I spit or I wash my face, I don't want any of that dirty water to stay there, right? I want it to keep flowing with the clean water. So that's what I did. I took out the stopper, adjusted it to the right height where it's at its lowest, because you don't want a gaping hole in the middle of your sink, and it's just high enough to where air is allowed in and the water is allowed to free flow down. So I didn't have to change her trap, I didn't have to add an air admittance valve, but her water is flowing. Okay, so now that you've seen that, everything is solved. That might be something that's a fix for you if you don't use your stopper. Otherwise, like I said, you would have to go with either an AAV or an air admittance valve, or you would have to change out whatever prehistoric system you have, including S-traps, which are known to, let me see if I can, S-trap. Okay, so the S-traps tend to siphon the water out of the traps, and in which case you end up with that sewer gas eventually making its way through the spaces where the water is not occupying, and eventually you will start smelling the nastiness that is coming from the sewer in your home. Do you want that? Probably not. So let's be smart, let's work smart, and also, try to give your client or whoever you're trying to do it for options. Obviously, a lot of them are going to go with the one that's the cheapest. However, let them know that a nice new system is going to be what will properly give you the right amount of flow, air into the system. Your water is going to be draining properly, while the sewer gas is going to be vented, allowing only fresh air to help with siphoning the water out, while also keeping the sewer gas out. Can we do that? Can we have happy, healthy plumbing in our homes? I think we can. So I hope this helped. Hope it wasn't too long, and I hope it was graspable. Again, if there's any plumbers out there who think I'm completely wrong or have anything that they could add or teach me, I'd be more than ears to hear it. I want to make it very clear there's no judgment here. If you genuinely don't have any money to be fixing your own plumbing, I totally get it. This is a way that fixed her problem, not only for free, but also the fact that at any point, if she did get a valve or another way to introduce air to the system or improved her trap situation in the future, she could always take out that horizontal rod, put her stopper back in, and it's still fully functional and adjustable at any point that she chooses. Sound good? Okay. I just don't want to hear, he's a hack job, he's a hack job. No, there's none of that. Relax. There's no hack jobs here. This is just a way to give everybody options. That's the point of the channel. It's being too technical. It's instead of giving you one choice where you might be broke, let's look at every possible way. And if there's only one way, then let me show it to you. Sound good? Okay. So until next time, thank you for watching, and work smart.